The beautiful anthem and some visuals that came from the AU Summit, the 26th AU Summit, which ended this past Sunday in the capital of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. Reporters from all over the continent also joined the proceedings and reported on it, of course. And one was of our SABC team was Sophie Mokoena. She was there. She, of course, is here in studio with us to talk more about her experience. And Sophie is our political and foreign editor here at the SABC. So good to have you. Welcome back.
Thanks, Leanne.
It was, I imagine, quite a wonderful place to be. I mean, that was, of course, where the whole of the continent is being discussed. What was it like? What did you take away from it?
Well, it was quite a good experience for SABC in particular, because this was the first time we went there with an OB, the technicians, the camera crew, and of course the reporters and editors, a team of 10 people. We were able to bring you events and discussions, and it was a comprehensive coverage. What I realized was that SABC did well in a sense that we were the only broadcaster in the continent who was able to took the events live, most of the events, but also we were able to do lots of interviews with different people, the NGOs, the politicians, ordinary people, young people, women. We were able to bring the story of the AU to the African continent, but with our digital platform also, because every story that we were able to cover was on YouTube, SABC YouTube, and some, the speech like President Mugabe's speech, which was a real hit among people worldwide, not only in South Africa. Therefore, it was quite an experience, and I was happy that SABC was able to deliver on its promise to cover the continent.
Indeed, a great success for the SABC. But let's talk about some of the details that came out of it. You mentioned President Robert Mugabe. You said it was a historic moment for him, obviously handing over his chairmanship now of the AU, and Idris Deby is the new chairperson of the AU. Why was it so historic for Mugabe, though?
It was historic in a sense that during the formation of the OAU, President Mugabe was there. He was alive. He participated, you know, as a person who was an activist then. And now later when it was changed to the AU in Durban, you'd recall, the new launch was in Durban during President Thabo Mbeki's era. And now again, during this time around with this new leadership in the continent, President Mugabe was there, and he was able to be given that honor of being the chair. And it was historic in a sense that when you look at where he comes from in terms of the liberation movement and his involvement, of course he's got his critics, but it was historic in a sense that he was able to deliver his speech. You'd recall early this year, there were lots of rumors around his health, and he came there, he was walking, he was healthy. He delivered the speech, and he didn't disappoint to those who love him and who understand his passion for the continent and his forthright comments around issues of autonomy of the continent and different countries.
I know everybody joking that it seems that every January there's a health scare with President Robert Mugabe, and all these headlines come out that he's not doing so well. Let's look at our involvement in all of it, and particularly when it comes to Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma's future. What is her position? I mean, we of course don't know if she's going to be going for a second term as the AU Commission chairperson. What did you feel there?
What we picked up is that it's unlikely that he will seek a second term. You'd know very well that in August again there will be a summit in Rwanda. There are reports that Algeria is trying to put a candidate. We saw the person who's likely to challenge the position, lobbying different people around the summit there, but it's not clear yet. You know, in politics, you never say no. So, but there are reports and indications that he is not going to seek a second term. But you don't know. With politics, anything is possible.
Anything can happen. I know. And there's also the talk of her running for the president of South Africa and maybe in the race for that. So it's something that we need to see how this all comes out. Now, one of the very big topics I know that was forecast before the AU summit began was that of the situation in Burundi and whether or not to actually send troops in. We see that a decision was taken not to send troops, and instead heads of state would actually go in to meet President Pierre Nkurunziza about that situation. Was that a bit of a disappointment? Because we do know that situation in Burundi has many people thinking that they're on the brink of a civil war.
Well, some people were disappointed, others were happy, because the concern there was that you must first send a team that will investigate what needs to be done and how do you approach a decision that you are likely to recommend to the AU and the UN. And some people felt that a proper investigation must be done. You'd recall that a week or in the same week there was a delegation from the United Nations Security Council in Burundi, in Bujumbura, on the ground, and we were able to speak to one delegate who was there, who told us that their recommendation was that there should be an observer team or monitors that will be sent to Bujumbura to get real facts on the ground. That will be the AU and the UN, and therefore you can then recommend to heads of states. And then heads of states can then call a special summit to take a decision and communicate the decision properly. Therefore, yeah, that was the decision. Ban Ki-moon a bit disappointed, but he accepted the decision of the summit.
Yeah, of course, I know that he gave the final address at the AU summit asking the continental body to deploy peacekeepers to Burundi, but of course that wasn't to be the case. This that we're closing off with was an anthem that they developed for the AU summit?
Yes, it's a national anthem for the AU. It has been there for some time now, but it was very emotional for some of us when we saw, the visuals of the building, or to see the building itself and how the AU has changed. You look at the infrastructure there, it's quite good. Therefore, I think the AU has done very well in terms of ensuring that there's capacity and the infrastructure for people who always converge in Addis Ababa in January. And the national anthem, they're sung by a local choir.
All right, well, let's end off the interview with that. Sophie Mokoena, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about your time there in Addis Ababa. SABC covering it very extensively, taking a lot of the sessions live and bringing it to not only us here in South Africa, but to the rest of the continent as well. Let's leave you with this anthem that we've been talking about.